Let's get the story straight. You are a poison. You flooded through my veins. You left me broken.
Welcome to the School of Hard Knocks, asswipe, and now you will be bashed immensely!
Hello everyone, this is Juniorfan, and here with me today is...
Hey guys, Unsealed Cross here.
And today we are going to do a co-op on this obsessed nostalgia-tard by the name of I Love 1994, and how he hates CGI animation, 3D effects in movies, and Blu-ray.
Now, keep this in mind that he's going to be contradicting himself, which makes him a subpar ranter. And he will be representing a certain controversial user and ranter on YouTube.
Well, I'm ready to get this shit started. What about you, Unsealed Cross?
Just give me 1 minute.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone.
Okay, now I've got my hard liquor and my local brew called Party with the Fat Boy. Now I'm ready to watch this pile of excrement / bitch fest that is known as a rant.
Well, let's do it. Not her, the video.
Hey YouTube.
Holy fucking shit! It's the bizarre autistic version of Hank Hill with a very blaring and ghastly sound from his camera that wants to bleed my ears internally where it gushes in my brains. Ah!
Really? I thought it was a framing issue, 'cause seeing a fraction of your head is the most professional way of filming your work, where it deserves an IFC Short Film Award.
Let's back up for a second. This is I Love 1994.
Oh, with a name like I Love 1994, it so doesn't sound like a nostalgia-tard name created on YouTube for a purpose to make really pointless and vile rants on modern media. Gee, and I also find it ironic that he has a Wile E. Coyote mug in the background that was from KFC back in, ironically enough, 1994 when KFC advertised those mugs.
Here again today, and this is Tyler Cook from RetroJunk.com.
What? Speak up, boy, I can't hear you. You sound quieter than a Fluttershy in the overnight in an abandoned field.
February the 9th, 2012. And just to let you all know, I'm going on a weekend trip. So,
is anybody interested in hearing about this Mike Judge impersonator's trip that he's going on? Anybody besides his fans? I didn't think so. Hey, Unsealed Cross, do you want to skip this absolute diatribe that's as equivalent as, say, watching C-SPAN for 12 hours straight?
Yes, let's skip this BS known as an unnecessary update. We want to see the goddamn rant! So skip it! Damn! Really? It took you approximately 1 minute 53 seconds to actually get into a rant about 3D, CGI, and Blu-ray.
Who does that remind me of? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yum, yum, yum. Ice cream.
Jesus Christ, this intro is longer than what I devise in my intro for my commentaries.
welcome back to I Love 1994's Rant Series.
Wait a minute. You mean Sirius the dog? You mean Sirius like what Heath Ledger says as a very memorable catchphrase in the movie Dark Knight?
Why so serious?
Oh, you mean series!
Also, I guess Hank Hill's better half does rants on his limited spare time when he doesn't constantly talk about propane and propane accessories. Oh, and his voice. Gee, can this nasally voice be any more fake? Why does he have to make his voice sound so freaking nasally? It sounds almost identical to Don Adams, and why the hell does he have his arms crossed? It looks like he's being defensive and is not going to take bullshit from anybody and whip some tail with his scrawny carcass. You mean... Oh shit.
Wait a second. You don't mean he's ripping off...
Welcome back to Ben Rants, and when I was a kid, people knew how to take jokes.
God fucking damn it!
And when I was a kid in the 1990s and early 2000s, everything was 2D animated, and people were actually active.
I really love your statement on hand-drawn, or as you spelled it out, hand-drawn animation. It doesn't matter if you draw it on paper or with a tablet with the computer. You still need to draw, which requires talent. Thanks for insulting me, asshole.
You know what I like?
What, to look up Playgirl naked images of Guptail89 and Ben the Hypocrite? To suck on your favorite ranter's willies?
Movies and TV shows!
Really? I would have not guessed that. Shoot, I thought people were still living in the 19th century, where people were singing the Bonnie Blue Flag and Johnny Comes Marching Home Again, reading Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and watching plays like Our American Cousin.
It's true. I love movies and TV shows.
Gee, and I have the most incoherent voice where it doesn't sound like I'm faking my true emotion while doing this rant.
Movies and TV shows from several different decades. When it comes to TV shows, especially cartoons and sitcoms, I love Looney Tunes, Ren and Stimpy, somewhat Scooby-Doo, although I hate its franchise.
Really? So if you mentioned some of the cartoons that you enjoyed in your childhood and in your late adolescent years, then why in Norval Rogers and Casey Kasem's ballsack did you claim that you hate Scooby-Doo for cartoons that you list for the ones you enjoy? Doesn't that sound hypocritical and makes what you just explained completely senseless to the point where it means absolutely nothing? I'm curious to know if this was all in one take, because I could tell that this wasn't scripted at all, due to the amount of pauses associated with this uninteresting and mundane rant so far.
Not to mention that I really like the new series of Scooby-Doo, which is entitled Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, mainly because it keeps the same formula and has an overarching plotline in the first season, which keeps it interesting, and not to mention, unlike most of the sequels to Scooby-Doo, with a few exceptions to the original series and franchise, they did manage to make some horrifying episodes of the new series of Scooby-Doo.
The only Scooby-Doo I kinda like is the Scooby-Doo Where Are You?
I did not realize that. Russell, did you realize that?
No, I did not realize that.
Batman and Spider-Man
And Superman, and the Hulk, and that guy with a red and yellow titanium alloy suit with a jetpack. Oh, why am I mentioning superheroes when I'm supposed to be doing a commentary?
Also, I'm wondering, which Batman shows are you talking about? Are you talking about the 60s version of Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward? Are you talking about Batman the Animated Series? Are you talking about Batman Beyond? Are you talking about the Batman? You grew up with these shows and you are bewildering your audience.
Not to mention, which Spider-Man are you talking about? Are you talking about the animated version of Spider-Man, which was shown back in the 1960s? Are you talking about the 1970s live-action show called The Amazing Spider-Man? Are you talking about the 80s animated version of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends? Are you talking about that wonderful Marvel Corporation logo from 1985 where Spider-Man looks like a hybrid of himself with the Silver Surfer? Are you talking about the 90s animated Spider-Man series? Or are you talking about the 1999 animated series that is called Spider-Man Unlimited? Gee, vagueness, thy name is Tyler.
And when it comes to sitcoms, I especially love Married with Children, which I got into recently. Thank you, Dad.
I'm kinda surprised that Al Bundy, your actual biological father, didn't tell you to shut the hell up when making this bitch fest.
And sitcoms that I grew up on, like Friends, Frasier, Seinfeld, all that, Enid and Kill, and modern...
What? No Malcolm in the Middle? That 70s show? And Home Improvement? You biased prick!
ones like The Big Bang Theory, you know? All those shows.
So, you mention all these shows from the 90s, and yet you, the sniveling snob, bring up but maybe one show from the current generation of television as an example. I'm starting to realize, not like I have before, that you, my fine friend, are showing signs of being a nostalgia-tard. Congratulations, asswipe.
Well, if you love The Big Bang Theory so much, why not give Mike and Molly a shot? Or better yet, earlier episodes of 2.5 Men before Charlie Sheen and his wild addiction on drugs and heroin that turned him into a made-up soldier and portraying as such. The reason why I suggest those situational comedies is because it's produced and directed by the same person, aka Chuck Lorre.
And movies like The Lion King and Star Wars, and, you know, it's awesome, isn't it?
Yes, it is awesome, because without movies, television, and other forms of electronic outlet for entertainment, none wouldn't exist, including the fact of you not making this lame and biased excuse of a rant. Also, I find it funny that you mentioned The Lion King as the main movie you had on the top of your head, and the first one you spoke of as an example when your username is I Love 1994, and that's when the classic Disney animated film came out, and the fact you have a Nala plushie in the background.
I sense a disturbance in the Force. I sense something biased.
However...
I could have had a V8!
Let's see. However...
With pure emphasis of the word however, I would have swore that this guy sounds almost constipated, or for the fact he's trying too hard to actually be funny or appealing.
Should I include the chocolate laxatives or the Beano?
Whatever works. He'll probably need both and a double heaping of such.
There are some bad points in those certain categories today. CGI, 3D, and this new thing called Blu-ray.
Okay, I understand that Blu-ray is, I guess, a fairly new form of video format that is used for electronic entertainment, but it's not exactly a brand spanking new thing. Remember the whole HD, DVD, and Blu-ray video format war that was going on in 2006 and 2007? Well, right around that time, Blu-ray was just out. See, with Blu-ray, it's been on the PS3s since the birth of the consoles released when Sony made the 60 gig and the 20 gig models of the system, which was right around November 2006. And at the time, it was a hefty $599, and Blu-ray movies could cost an astounding $50 to own. Now, with the advancement of technology, Blu-ray is basically the standard of electronic entertainment, and that you can now purchase Blu-ray players for a price range that is in between $70 to $150. With Sony, you can purchase the PS3 in between $250 to $300, and you can purchase Blu-ray movies in between the price range of $10 to $35.
Your move, creep.
Let's
Stop it, boy! You're hurting yourself! That boy ain't right.
start with CGI. Okay, you know what? Toy Story. Toy Story was the crap when I was a child. Buzz and Woody were my favorites when I was a kid.
Like every kid that watched the movie and enjoyed it like I did when I first saw the movie in theaters at the age of 6. You're not the only one, buddy.
But you know what? I like Toy Story. It's a part of my childhood. It's a good movie.
Quit repeating yourself.
I like Toy Story for what it is. I always have. But I dislike the trend that it gave. the trend it started was kind of a little stupid, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean, unless you're talking about the progression to the next generation of animation.
It was kind of stupid.
The trend for CGI animation is stupid? How? Which I know there's going to be no elaboration being described in this portion of the rant.
I mean, thanks to Toy Story, we got a lot of these movies in CGI. And I am afraid that it's going to replace 2D animation.
No, it will not replace 2D animation, because everything starts with 2D. Not to mention some studios are still producing 2D films and 2D shows. One of the best examples of this is Disney. Disney still has Studio Ghibli as a 2D animation studio. Not to mention with their most recent outings such as The Princess and the Frog and the new Winnie the Pooh film. Plus, you have these straight-to-DVD comic book movies that have mostly received mixed reviews, but were all hand-drawn. Besides, before any models, whether they're 3D or 2D, are created, they have to go through what is called a character bible, then a character design, and then a layout for the scene which the character is going to interact with.
Just look at some of the animated shows being produced and directed by Cartoon Network, Hub, and Nickelodeon, and their studios for their channels, or most of the Japanese anime. They still use 2D animation despite most of it being Flash. Now granted, it isn't exactly big screen box office worthy with the exception of some Japanese anime like Ponyo, Secret World of Arity, Rebuild of the Evangelion series, Mobile Suit Gundam 00 the movie, and Awakening of the Trailblazer.
Do something! Gah!
You know, when I was in art class in middle school, there was no 2D animation. There was only clay animation and 3D animation.
Really? Well, let me tell you a little story. When I was in college not too long ago, I had to make a 10-second short film with hand-drawn animation. It was all traditional, with paper and pencil. I had to edit it all out with video editing software to present to the class. So don't you fucking stand there and tell me how animation works. It's the same no matter what you pick, 2D or 3D.
Also, didn't you say claymation and 3D animation were the only forms of animation you grew up with? Dumbass! You said you hated CGI animation for the trend it was going, and if I'm not mistaken, did you mean 2D animation from the start and the fact you grew up with that form of animation? Gee, you're dumber than that picture of the Three Stooges you have in the background. I guess you hadn't met Mr. Edit and Mrs. Double Check.
And somewhat with drawing, but not too much of that. And it was stupid.
Oh, boo-hoo-hoo.
Come on!
Gee, you really had to make an unnecessary pause and head nod, huh, son?
Oh well, at least we got The Princess and the Frog. Yeah, we haven't seen a 2D animated Disney movie in a long time.
You are made of stupid.
Hey, dipshit. Have you seen the recent Winnie the Pooh film that came out last summer? Or the previews, at least? Remember that? That's exactly what we're talking about approximately 20 seconds ago. Not to mention, they have made 2D animated direct-to-video sequels like Fox and the Hound 2 and Bambi 2 recently. So your argument falls as quickly as, say, a typical Kardashian marriage.
So, CGI, overused. That's all I can say.
Overused? That's all you have to say? Holy fucking shit! I've just heard the greatest excuse for hating 3D animation. Way to go, dude! Way to go! Also, I would like to link everyone to a certain user who is an instructor at the sister school where I went. His username is Polygon Sculptor. He actually shows you how 3D animation models are made and why exactly I got so annoyed in this segment.
Next, we move on to 3D. Oh God. Now, let me explain. When 3D was first introduced in the 50s, it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, and it was really shitty too! Mainly because sometimes it didn't fucking work!
And I've only seen like a few 3D movies in theaters.
Really? So the determination of watching maybe a few 3D movies in theaters will deter your point in claiming that 3D, with the exception of 3D films from the 1950s, which by the way, I'll call bullshit on that, as it seems like you just read and came up with those facts, will automatically make your point valid? God damn! This guy's a fucking retard that doesn't give modern technology worth a try.
But one particular movie I remember seeing in theaters back when I was a kid was Spy Kids 3D. And I thought it was really cool to see the things blowing right back out at you. But as I continued to get older, I thought it was really stupid. It really got annoying. And seeing as how that everything was coming out in 3D constantly as the years went by.
I can agree that 3D is being overused, but a lot of the audience still enjoys watching movies in 3D. In fact, there is an option in the theaters to actually see something in both 2D and 3D. Just look at the pictures being shown in selected theaters, and you will see what I am talking about. Now, I understand that 2D doesn't have as much viewing time as 3D, but it's what the theater company and the motion picture company wants so they can please the general movie-going audience, and so that they, the people working in the specific line of work, actually make a decent living. If you enjoy just regular 2D, that's fine, dandy, and filled with hanky-panky. But like this repetitiveness and borefest that is called a rant, you're just complaining and agitating the situation even more and becoming a laughingstock on YouTube.
I would also like to point out that if it's shot correctly, and if the 3D is used correctly, then you will get a film much like James Cameron's Avatar. It also works for animated feature films because of the color choices most animated films use actually work with the 3D in its favor.
It's like, what the frick? Are you honestly gonna have every single thing come out in 3D just to make money? Come on! Cut us some slack, will ya?
Jesus fucking H. Christ! Refer to what I just said in the last goddamn forsaken statement!
I mean, only certain movies are meant to be in 3D, and those are the good ones. I mean, this is stupid. If I want to go see a movie in 3D, I'll go see it. But if I want to see something in 2D, sit nada. Only certain movies are meant to be in 3D. Not every single dang thing.
Wait. You know this? Then why in the fuck are you bitching about it? And for that matter, why the fuck did I correct you? Holy shit, I mean, my god, just why? You couldn't explain this at the beginning of this segment?
Right now we have Beauty and the Beast out in theaters in 3D. Why? I have no clue in the world. Oh yeah, it's to make more money!
So, you are going to complain about the trend that CGI animation went through in the portion of this foodbarred rant so far, and yet you are complaining about the instant classic that a lot of the fans of Disney enjoy in their childhood, and the fact it was released during the 20th anniversary of Disney's Beauty and the Beast theatrical release, and yet it's mainly a 2D hand-drawn animated film? Do you hear yourself think? Of course you don't! You're just shooting off your mouth, contradicting yourself, and giving people who just enjoy 2D animation and classic Disney films a bad name and reputation. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to face desk and face wall at the same time.
God, whatever happened to caring about people? Huh? You ever think of that? Huh?
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once normal to me, and that some people don't. People People started 3D. People can stop it.
Why do you think they re-released The Lion King and The Little Mermaid and are re-releasing other classic Disney animated films such as Aladdin? Well, if you're going to bitch about this, then why don't you bitch about the very first full-length animated movie that brought the late Mr. Walt Disney to the map of filmmaking called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which premiered on December 21st, 1937 and was released February 4th, 1938. And not to mention, they re-released the film in these years.
God. And plus, I'm a person that likes to escape from reality the majority of the time when I'm alone, so...
Yeah, I'm a person that would like to escape from reality right now too. Like out of this crippled rant and go masturbate towards Barbra Streisand smut.
Like I said, as I continue to grow older, I really got annoyed at the things blowing right back at me. So, I don't want the reality blown right back at me anymore. This is why I'm annoyed at 3D movies.
Wouldn't that mean that you hate every form of escapism? Since they have some form of reality in which you can relate to no matter how bizarre. Oh wait, you like artsy films with no plot, don't you? Fucking snob.
So bottom line, 3D is just a thing that's used to get more money these days. It's really just annoying. So stop!
Oh, not this again.
So, telling the filmmakers and the people who are participating in editing the films in 3D to cease production of what they are going to do will persuade them to de-evolve the advancement of technology, which is virtually impossible unless you are Amish or a Mennonite churning butter and having barn raisings 24/7. Once again, you prove absolutely nothing and made yourself look like a bumbling and immature jackass that you represent. Now, you hear what I hear? I'm starting to hear it! Oh yeah! This!
Moan, bitch, and gripe. Bitch and moan, bitch and moan, bitch and gripe.
Next, we move on to the last thing, Blu-ray. Now, I've talked about Blu-ray several different times in the first season of I Love 1994's Rant series, and you know what? I talked about it in my rant on modern society and a little bit of in a high school rant. I talked about it in my modern TV rant.
Then why in the fuck are you bringing it up again? If you have already stated your opinions towards Blu-ray, then I have to ask again, why? I'm sure your fans get the fact that you hate Blu-ray. Jesus Christ, you're reminding me way too much of Home of the Good Guys right now.
And you know what? I address it a lot, don't I? Because I have a certain grudge with
Grundage? Huh. Never heard of that Japanese horror film before.
it. I really do.
Really? Like almost your favorite dick-sucking, gay-loving, butt-fuck buddy by the name of Benjamin, and how he made like 3 out of the 5 unnecessary parts to his Cartoon Network rant. Especially that 5th part, where he doesn't give Secret Mountain Fort Awesome a slight chance, and this is coming from a guy that's supposed to be giving new cartoons at least a legitimate chance of being watched before stating his opinion, as he proves to be nothing more than a biased prick in his more recent rants.
I'll drink to that with some cider. AKA the brony version of a lager.
And believe me, I know you guys are getting tired and sick of hearing about how much I hate Blu-ray, but believe me, this will be the last time.
The last time? I highly doubt that, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, go ahead and make your predictions now. I will guarantee him that he will make yet another unnecessary rant on Blu-ray here in about 4 to 6 months. And if your guess is better than mine, I will treat you out somewhere, if I have the money. Maybe to a nice steak dinner at the local Texas Roadhouse.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Why convert to Blu-ray? We've just got done collecting DVDs, for goodness sake.
You know, that is like asking why switch from beta and VHS to Laserdisc, or as you stated earlier, DVD to Blu-ray, or even more recently, strictly data for watching movies and TV shows. You know, like from Netflix, Hulu, Ultraviolet, hell, even YouTube does this. Gee, you really didn't think of any other reason other than why upgrade. All you're doing is refusing to move forward with modern tech. Much like everyone else who is like this. Whether you like it or not, you will have to eventually upgrade. Hell, I had to do this because with the advancement of Blu-ray, I could finally experience what I saw in the theaters. Besides, as Juniorfan stated earlier, Blu-rays are relatively cheap now, and so are Blu-ray players. So I have to ask, why bitch and complain about it when it has fixed itself over time due to customers buying these items, thus making them relatively cheaper and more cost efficient?
Not to mention that you said got done collecting DVDs. Don't you mean that they got done being the standard for video format? That statement doesn't make sense at all. Hell, it's like if I mentioned the PS2. Now I understand the PS2 is basically outdated from the gaming market, but still, you can purchase a brand new PS2 at Best Buy or even Walmart for $80, and you can still find the games for that system in the various stores that I mentioned. What I'm trying to say is that even though the video format, which you will present to us, is outdated, doesn't mean you can't collect them. Look at sites like Atari Age, Nintendo Age, and Sega Age, or even sites like Amazon, eBay, PlayAsia, Retro USB, and Chase the Chuckwagon. They have collectors for retro consoles and games, and they buy accessories, games, and consoles from both the local mom-and-pop retro game stores to ones like Play and Trade. So that's all I have to say about that, and it's coming from the same guy who has over 1,000 games in his personal collection.
I mean, for crying out loud! Be right back.
Hey boys, we get to see ourselves in this video!
Wait a minute! Oh! 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 This rant isn't over yet, you imbecile! Really? I find the M&M figurines to actually have more of a life thriving for them in this unedited portion of the rant. And why? Because of the simple yet obvious fact that he's trying to find a DVD and VHS for his diatribe, and making this part as interesting as, say, watching most of RM Brett's videos.
You know what's more compelling than this? Watching flies eat shit. Hey, don't tell Butthead to shut up.
Yeah.
I just got done collecting DVDs.
So, I guess you're not done collecting adult porno at the local XXX movie store? So, I'm guessing it's not the latest gay version of barbed wire bandits banging black chiefs bumbling buffoons?
Do we really need Blu-ray? And despite the fact that DVD is still out there, no, we don't need them.
My brain is slumping and slooping so much that it's starting to fall right out of my anus due to the monotony accompanied by this childish ranter.
It's like we're moving on to a new format.
Why do I even bother?
Wait about 10 years, schmuck, and you'll be begging for your precious Blu-ray to be the main stable for entertainment formats. You will be pissed at a little-known something by the name of Ultraviolet, as they are advertising it right now on television. So shut your fucking hole!
For crying out loud, no. I have a medium DVD collection and a large...
Ah, damn! I thought that would be the sluttier picture of Bianca. That would make the furries cream and jizz their pants while fapping off to such a hidden discovery.
Copy of The Rescuers.
Funny, I thought this was God. Or this. Or this. Well, with that logic, then this must be God.
Yeah, I have a large VHS collection. When I was a kid, to all the 2000s kids out there, this is how we watched movies when I was growing up.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
You guys will never experience this.
I guess you hadn't experienced shopping at the local Salvation Army, Goodwill, or flea markets. They sell VHS tapes and VHS players all the fucking time. Again, you're an inept, one-sided, single, and weak-minded bumbler that is bickering about some of the pettiest bullshit I have heard. You're one of the reasons why my childhood is being raped with a 12-inch pecker, and I, for one, can't stand it anymore!
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore.
Yeah. And you know, I have a large VHS collection. Do you know why?
Does anybody know how to blackmail? Anybody? I think I found pictures of him in the closet doing something unnatural to those poor and defenseless VHS tapes, and why he has a large collection.
Because I'm collecting the tapes, and I want to, you know, keep the memories of how I used to watch these tapes. And I also want my kids to see what a VHS really is.
I can relate to what you just said about sharing VHS tapes to the next generation, but really, they need to experience... screw it. I'm not going to repeat myself and sound as repetitious as this broken record being portrayed in an AVI format.
Watching a DVD just takes the fun out of it.
How exactly does one format take the fun out of another? From what I remember of watching both VHS and DVD with my family, it was all about spending time together and enjoying the film.
And besides, the point of owning the film is like what Unsealed Cross just said, is to experience the joy and suspense of what the film provides. It doesn't matter which format the film succumbs, as long as you have a physical copy of your favorite movie or TV show. Then what is there to complain about? I guess count thy blessings means absolutely nothing and is completely meaningless.
However, DVDs are good for bonus features and audio commentaries. So, yeah, you get the point. And that's what DVDs are good for. Bonus features and audio commentaries, especially games.
I thought the only purpose for DVDs were to be treated like a frisbee, so your dog can go and play catch with them. Oh, wait. They might break it in pieces, and you would have to send them to the vet. Never mind.
But VHS is more charming, and it's where it's at. Be kind, please rewind.
Gee, I wonder where he got that line from. Oh, and one more thing. That's what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm hearing. Come on, guys, quit picking on the old video format. You big bullies! No! What are you doing? Oh no! Don't do that! No! Why? It was just a VHS tape. Why?
And so I'm saying, please keep your tapes, rewind them, and preserve their quality so they can last the next 50 years.
Okay, Mr. Highly Functioning Autistic Version of Millhouse, but thanks to you, I am convinced to put an electronic chip in every VHS tape to exist, and hijack Skynet, and get the tapes to do my dirty work, so we can dispose of assholes like you, so we can send you to the nearest molten steel factory, compress you like a cockroach, and take the remains and put them in the molten steel just like Arnie!
Please, keep your tapes, don't throw them out, but if you want to sell them, and if a VHS collector comes to your garage sale or whatever, sell them to that person.
Holy shit, you know about those things?
No, really? I thought you could have chucked the VHS tapes at them and make sure they had lacerations on their head, which may require the collector to get like 10 stitches. Oh, herpity derp derp derp.
So, bottom line, Blu-ray is just pointless, stupid, gay, and lame. Besides, we don't need it, and it's just another rip-off of a DVD.
Wow, and just when I thought your reasoning to why you hate the things you hate couldn't get any dumber, then you pull that out of your ass. Here's 2 of my complaints with Blu-ray. First, if one little smudge gets on the disc, it takes a while for the disc to load, and also, the way you remove the Blu-ray from the case doesn't help either. I actually prefer the push-button system that you see in most DVDs. And some Blu-rays. That actually helps protect the disc better. You see what I did there? I gave you some reasons why Blu-rays aren't that great. You're welcome.
Also, how is it considered a rip-off? The only preferences that makes DVD and Blu-ray identical is they are basically discs, and they were created by the same company. Your argument and statement is so flawed that I would literally have to dig out the equivalent of, say, a 20-foot hole of grizzly bear and buffalo fecal matter embedded in that hole. This proves you don't know jack fucking shit in what you just droned on about. First of all, the appearance of the back of the discs look nothing alike. With Blu-ray, it has an indigo shading associated with the interior of the disc, and you can see the front of the disc, or the label, much clearer than a DVD. Second, Blu-ray can hold a lot more data than a DVD. If I'm not mistaken, it would have to take 100 DVDs to hold as much information as, say, a typical Blu-ray, which is why Blu-rays look much clearer on the big screen than your average DVD, which looks grainy and pixelated by comparison. One more thing to add. Blu-rays are tougher to damage when being scratched than a DVD, and just loads when it is damaged, unlike the DVD where it basically skips. The only problem with Blu-ray is that you can't clean them, or else the disc is done as dinner. So your vague and BS statement absolutely makes no goddamn sense, boy.
So there's my rant on CGI, 3D, and Blu-ray.
Blah blah blah, yada yada yada, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
Do you know why? Because 1, the CGI is taking over animation. 2, 3D is just a way to get money. And 3, Blu-ray is just another version of a DVD, and it makes me sick.
Just like this entire rant, it represents the extreme vagueness that's known as a pissing contest on CGI, 3D, and Blu-ray.
Ugh!
Ugh! Constipation and bad acting! Ugh!
Well, I might as well find something else to rant about, seeing as how that's it. That's all I had to say.
Whoops! Too late! Show's over, folks. Wouldn't you agree, Cross?
Yes.
Well, thank the Lord and Jesus that this video is finally over.
Happy days are here again, the skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again.
Now, let's start out with you, Unsealed Cross. Please describe your final thoughts on the horror. The horror!
Alright, well, all I have to say about this rant is the simple question of why. Why did he do this rant of 3 subjects that we've heard enough people bitch about? Not only that, but it seems like he didn't do any research as to what he was going to rant about, and was completely biased.
Well, in conclusion, this video was very unnecessary. I Love 1994 definitely showed signs of being a true nostalgia-tard, and if I was in this guy's shoes, I would regret making rant videos ever again. If you think that what he presented was bad, just look at his other 500 plus videos that he makes. He makes a Sega Genesis review, and only mentions the Sonic games, and that's it. This video almost gave me a virtual vasectomy and convinced me never to have kids again. I fucking hated this biased rant, and this young adult doesn't know what the hell he is talking about. Also, kid, you need to be trolled once more on retrojunk.com, because let's face it, you are the absolute plague and scourge of the ranting community. Now piss off and do something productive for once, like tying your waist to a cinder block and walking about a mile.
Whatever, I'm done, and it appears I'm all out of booze. So if you will excuse me, I need to get some aspirin. This is Unsealed Cross, and I'll see you guys next time.
This is Juniorfan, out!